Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to our channel. Hey, if you're new here, welcome. Please click that like and subscribe at the bottom of this video and hit that bell notification. This way you get notified every time I upload a video. That's only if you feel I've earned it. All right, so what are we working on today? We're working on a 2020 Lowrider S. I know I said it's gonna be Project Goliath, but talking to the missus, it's Project Spaceball. That's right, Project Spaceball, because we're going past ludicrous speed with this bike when I get done with it. So today's all about the chain drive conversion from belt to chain. So what do we got going on? I've already removed the derby cover and drained the primary oil. We got to take the outer primary off. I've already loosened up the starter bolts. We have to remove the top chain belt guard, which will become chain guard. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the lower guard or not, but these are all 3/16 bolts. These screws here are a T25 for around the derby cover, and the drain plug is a 5/8. So let me get that derby cover off, and then we'll go over this. Okay, I got the derby cover off, got the outer primary cover off, and where are we? Well, here we have our forward compensator. I'm waiting on a compensator delete kit, so this is not going to be reused on Project Spaceball. This is a kit, primary chain tensioner that will be reused, but I have to get in here with a zip tie this down. This way, when I go put it back together, you know, I won't be fighting it. Then the primary chain. Over here I have the AIM variable rate pressure plate, which I'm going to be upgrading the springs behind here. There's 3 springs behind each screw, and I'll be upgrading those springs. They are 30% stiffer than stock. So with that and this variable rate pressure plate, the bike's going to actually, you know, the clutch will actually work well. And we're going to be taking the clutch basket off. We're going to be taking the compensator off. And then there's 5 bolts that hold this inner primary on, with 2 bolts here for the starter, which, like I said, I already got them loose, but I'm going to take them all off together. So this is a nice project. Let me get all this off. This is a T70, by the way. You're not going to be taking it off here at the nut. It's right here at the T70. I'm going to have to lock this, but to save time and energy, I'm actually going to use my impact gun, a 1/2-inch drive. So let me get that done and we'll work together. Okay, I got the center nut off for the clutch basket. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if we move our pressure plate out of the way, look in here. You see that center nut? Right here. This is what threads on right here. And it's a left-handed thread, which means you have to go in the direction of tightening it to actually loosening it. So on this is lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. It's opposite. So that's okay, though. Let it be opposite. Opposite's good at times. So, you know, when you do this, like I always say about always being organized. So I'm trying to stay organized with all my parts and pieces. What do we got left? We got 2 1/2-inch bolts here, and then we got 5 1/2-inch bolts here, and then we got the 2 bolts there for the starter. So let me break all these loose with the ratchet, because, you know, they are torqued, and there is a torque for them. And I have to look that up. I don't know what it is right now, but I will have it when we go to reassemble. And always get new gaskets, and these 5 bolts are a one-time use only. And why is that? Well, it's because they have a rubber washer on the inside, and you want to make sure, oh wow, that when these are out, oh wow, tight. Let me put this down. You guys can watch me struggle with it. As you can see, I am struggling with these bolts. They're tight, but that's okay. Tight is always good, which means if they're tight, they're not coming off. Okay, here's the one-time use bolt I was telling you about. You see that little orange washer in there, or rubber washer? That's why they're a one-time use only. So always stay organized what you're doing. Sounds like my battery's dying. Let me get a new battery, get this off, and we'll get right back to it. Woohoo, we're getting there, guys. I got the inner primary off. Here's your starter, which will move in and out, which helps with putting this thing back together on and off. So, what do we got here? We got 2 screws here and a 2 1/4 nut. And there's a lot of red Loctite around that, so I gotta be careful. I'm definitely gonna have to use the impact gun for this, but at first let me get these off. I believe those are 3/16. So let me get my 3/16. Let's make sure. Yes, yes they are. So I'm gonna crack them loose. Now there's 2 ways I could do this belt. I could remove the swing arm bolt, which is right here, slide it out, and remove the belt as one piece. Or I could save myself a whole lot of work and just cut the belt, which I might do because I have no plans of going back to a belt drive. So I want to save this. This is a locking collar. That locks that nut on there so it doesn't come off. It will be reused. Let me get the tool and I'll show you how it works. Okay, I got the tool. Now the first thing we want to do is put this threaded adapter on. Remember, it's a reverse thread. So we want to thread this on in reverse. So so my mind's saying I'm taking it off when actually I'm putting it on. Now that here takes up the space that's inside of this long socket. And there that is. Now I'm going to get my impact gun. Now this is not a reverse thread, this is a normal thread. So let's see, can we break it free? I hope so. Okay guys, I stopped the video because the impact's just making so much noise, but you guys get the idea now that, you know, how tight that is and how much red Loctite is on there. So, you know, just when you do this, if you plan on doing this yourself, make sure you got a good impact gun, that you have the right tools for this job. I went out and ordered that socket just to do this job because I normally don't do this type of work here. But this is for my bike and it's for me and it's for, you know, Project Spaceball, and it's a good time to clean your frame too while you're here. So, you know, that's where I am at. So what's left? Well, let's see, we're going to take the belt guard off. We're going to have to loosen these all the way up, the axle adjuster. We're going to have to remove the axle and remove the tire. Now once that's done, we're going to take these bolts off, pull that pulley off, put the new pulley on, but we have to clean those threads and use some Loctite. And then we're going to come up front here, we're going to put our new gear on here, run our chain, cut the chain, terminate the chain. But I'm not going to go that far today on this because, actually, yeah, I'll go all that way. I'll do it all because I got to take the back tire off to do the rotors when the rotors come in. But that's okay. We'll get it all done for everybody. All right. Let me get this jacked up and we'll start removing stuff. Okay guys, I ended up cutting the belt off. and I got the bike jacked up, and I got the upper belt guard off, which will become now the chain guard. So let me show you where we're at. I don't know if you guys remember I talked about in the troubleshooting your charging system. Well, that's what your stator looks like. Right here. That's your stator. So there you have it. Now you know what your stator looks like. But here's the output shaft to your transmission. Right? So this spins one way, this spins the other, depending on which gear you're in. We're in neutral. Your starter. Your rear wheel. Now I have to loosen up this on both sides. I'm going to remove the brakes, and then I'm going to pull the axle out and get the tire out. Once the tire's out, then we'll continue on with this video. So give me a second, because that's all it'll take for you. Okay, as you can see, I got the back tire off, and it's sitting on an old tire. This way I got no weight or nothing on the brake rotor. Even though I am replacing those brake rotors, I am not going to be abusing them. But these bolts are getting replaced, and this pulley is coming off. Just like that, and no more belt drive. So the way this here works is there's a spacer that goes right here, and then our chain gear goes right there. I'm liking that look. What do you guys think? Let me get all those threads cleaned out with a thread chaser, not a tap, but a thread chaser, and then and blow them out. As you can see, there's a lot of old Loctite still in there that I need to get out. I want to clean all that out, clean this up, put some fresh Loctite in there, and then tighten these to the manufacturer's spec. All right, give me a minute. Okay, here it is. It's mounted, installed. You can see the spacer that's there. The only thing I wish it was powder coated black, but hey, it is what it is. But I have decided I'm not going to mount this tire yet, because I want to wait until I get the rotors. And once I have the brake rotors, then I will reassemble, you know, put the back tire on and everything. But I will, while we're here, do the forward sprocket with you so you can see it. But before we do anything, I have to get a brush, a wire brush, and clean off those threads. This way, when I put fresh Loctite on that, and also on this nut, I got to clean the Loctite off of that. And then once I get that all together, you know, then we're at a holding pattern until the brake rotors come in. And I don't want to put the inner primary and outer primary on yet. So we are in pretty decent shape. I've gotten further along tonight than I thought. It's really not that hard when you have the right tools. Be honest with you, this big nut here made me a little nervous, because I've heard some nightmares about them and getting them off. So I'm glad there was no nightmare with that. But also, while you're here, guys, good time to get in here and check the tightness of this Allen screw. We have, you know, make sure everything else is tight here, because remember, I put the forward controls on this. I got rid of the mid controls, so that's a good thing for me anyways. But yeah, I think we're in good shape. What do you guys think? I think we're in good shape as well. So let me get the brush, we'll clean that off, and then together we will put that forward sprocket on. Okay, I got the sprocket nut cleaned. I got the shaft nice and clean. The forward sprocket is from PBI Sprockets. By the way, if anybody's curious, I bought this kit from a very well-known company called Fuel Moto. So what we want to do is put this on. Hold on, let me put this down, see if I can get this to line up, because I can't do it one-handed. Give me a second, guys. Let's see. Yeah, you just gotta tap it on a little, it looks like. There we go. It's starting to go. Just gotta tap it on. Nobody said this stuff is easy. So, yep, just tap it on. There it is. See how easy that was? So the next thing we want to do is take our red Loctite. We're going to put it on our nut. And yeah, I'm putting a very generous amount of Loctite on that. And what I want to do is wipe it off of that bushing. All right. So let me get the socket, and we're going to need the gun again. Tighten this up. So again, we got to put the spacer back on. Remember, that's a reverse thread. And I'm going to put this on by hand as much as I can. This is going to be interesting, holding that and tightening this down without fucking up my hands. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to wipe up the excess right now, and I'm going to hit this with the gun because this is under an enormous amount of torque, and no matter what I do, I guarantee you I won't be able to let me put this in 6th gear. That's 2nd, 3rd. Oh, that's because of the clutch basket. Never mind. There's 2nd, 3rd, neutral, 1st, neutral. That's right, because the clutch has got to lock it up. So, let me get the impact gun, get this tight, and we'll finish it together tonight. Okay, let's see how lucky we are. We're putting this locking washer on. Look at that. See, those holes just lined right up. Boy, I got lucky there. So what we're going to do is get some blue Loctite on these screws, and we're going to put them right in. So let me grab the blue Loctite, the 3/16, and my little impact driver. Okay, got the blue Loctite, got my 3/16. So, hopefully you guys didn't mind that pause, walking around the other side of the lift. Alright, little Loctite goes a long way. I'm a big fan of it. Or a thread locker. Gorilla makes a thread locker as well. This one is made by Permatex, blue thread locker. So it's really not Loctite. So, you know, I don't want to give you the wrong information. There we go. All right. Beautiful. Now that'll set up, and we are ready for the chain, the back tire, but I want to wait because I don't want to take that back tire off again to do the sprocket. So watch for that video as well. That'll be out after this one. So the next time you see this, I'll have the sprockets and everything. And what do you guys think? Should I leave the guard on? I want to leave it on because I got that swing arm bag. So I think I'm going to leave them on just for that, to protect the swing arm bag. All right, guys. We'll see you in a few moments as soon as we get the rotors in. All right, guys. Now they got everything cleaned up. It's a good time to really get in there and clean your spacers, your axle, look at your ABS sensor and everything. And the best way to clean up your axle is, I've always found it's easier to use something like WD-40. Nothing cuts oil and grease like oil. And you know, so that's why I always recommend it. And this is anti-seize. You don't want a lot on there, just a real fine coat. And the reason being is, when you put that fine coat on there, it will not seize or stick to the inner bearings of your wheel. And I've seen that happen. And guys, if you skip this step, and the next time you go to have your tire replaced, or you replace that tire, you're going to be buying axles and bearings and everything else that goes with it. So yes, you can use grease. I've seen people use grease, but you know, grease is not where it's at for axles, in my opinion. But here we go. We're going to start mounting our axle into our wheel, and just getting everything squared up. Takes a little bit of time, but we'll get it. Oh, there we go. We're not lined up front. Okay. Well, not front, on the right side, I should say. And we're working on it. I've said it once before, and I'll say it again. If something doesn't line up right away, stop what you're doing and take a look and see what's happening. Because you never know what you can break by forcing something. You never want to force, especially your axle, when you got ABS. All right. Does anybody have any questions as of right now? If you do, feel free to leave me a comment down below. Just going to lower this down a little bit. And what has happened over here is my little spacer right in here. I don't know if you could see it, it's cocked. So I got to get in there and try and straighten that out. I'm going to try doing it by lowering the actual bike. See if I can get that to straighten out on its own without having to pull everything back apart again. All right, now let's try going up with it. There we go. All right, I got it in there. Take a look. I got it straightened out. And it's spinning pretty good. But what I did in preparation for the chain is I loosen these all the way up. And why did I do that? So I could push this tire as far forward as possible, like it is. You can see that axle right there. And then let's check the other side. Yep, it's as far forward as possible. And the reasoning behind that is when I terminate the chain onto itself at the master link, I'll have room for adjustment as that chain ages and stretches. So now the last step is, oh, it's over there now. You got the washer, you got your nut. Okay, this nut torque is 70 to 75 foot-pounds. And the torque for your pulley is, I had it, your first torque is 60 foot-pounds. And then your final torque is 77 to 83. So that's a 5 foot-pound difference in that range. So you could go to, you know, first torque is 60 foot-pounds. And the final torque, I would say, is 79 to 80. What I would do is go 60, 65, and then the final torque, I went to 80. You always want to torque all your bolts because you don't want these things coming out on you on the road or under load when you're banging gears. All right, guys, let's get going on with this chain. The brake pads, we'll get that done. Then, you know, we'll move on to the front. All right, guys, I unboxed our chain. And if you look at it right here, it's an EK chain. It is a 530 chain. It does O-rings that give you a master link that you have to kind of like rivet back down. So I'm going to unbag this chain and I'm going to get it run, and then we're going to measure and cut the chain and set it for our length that we need it with the axle full forward. And then once the chain is done, we'll put the chain guard back on it, we'll adjust the tire, and then this job is done. So we're getting there, guys, slowly but surely. We still got the inner primary to do with the clutch, the upgraded compensator delete, the upgraded clutch springs, the one-piece clutch cable instead of the two-piece. And when I do that, I'll show you guys why I went to a one-piece over a two-piece. So let me get this chain run, and you know, we'll work together as always. All right, chain is out. It's got some weight to it. So I'm basically letting the sprockets do the work for me, holding the weight of the chain. And what I'm doing is trying to get these as tight as possible. And then I'll show you guys how we're going to measure this up. Okay, as you can see, I got quite a bit of chain left over here. I got as much slack out as I can, which is okay because I have all that adjustment here to get the slack out. There is wax on this chain already, so you know, we'll make it happen. But what I need to figure out now is this is falling in between where I need to put my link. So let me think about this and we'll work together on it when I get back. All right, guys, just to show that going on here, this here is the press to get these rivets out of the chain. I ground down the ends of the link that I'm removing, and I set this up. I've never done this before, so I'm kind of curious to how all this works out. And you know, am I going to break this tool or not? I don't know. Like I said, I've never done this before, so it's interesting. I will say that we will learn something today. It seems to be working. I have no idea, but we'll figure it out together. It appears to be bending. Let's straighten it back up. So here we go. There we go. It's coming through. How many guys have ever done this to chains in the past? You know, being a Harley guy, I've only done belts. And when I used to work at, you know, on Jap bikes, the chains had a different style master link than this. So, okay, that seems to have pressed all the way through, I believe. I just have to get this tool out. Now what we'll do is we'll do the opposite end of it, since I ground that off too. The trick is getting this all lined up perfectly, because once I could pop this rivet through on the bottom, I should be able to take the top off, or the outside of this part of the chain off, and then away we go, you know. Yeah, I bought this tool, probably going to use it once, and probably won't use it again for quite a while. That's okay though. Hey, and it came apart just like that. All right, so we got some O-rings we gotta hold on to. Take this chain apart. Now what to do with this leftover chain? Good question. I don't know. All right. So, well, there we go. Now we take our new master link. They gave us brand new O-rings. So the way these O-rings work is one goes on over here, the other one goes on over here. Now we slide this through both sides of the chain, and then we take two more O-rings. Oh, don't fall. Because they only gave me so many. And here's the other new one. I think that's how that goes. And then this piece goes over the top. And how does that fit in there? Let's take the O-rings off. Let's test fit this. Oh, it's a tight fit. It really is. All right, so let's pull this back out. I dropped an O-ring. and drop the chain. You guys are seeing it live. That, yes, I do make mistakes. It does happen. So let's put this back up. Let's bring this up a little bit so I can see what's going on here. Okay, that gets pressed in just like that. The new O-rings go on. And now this piece goes on as well. But I'm not quite sure how to terminate this at this point. So we're connected. But there you have it. So far, guys, what do you think? A lot of slack in that chain. Well, before I do this, I just had a thought. Let me pull the tire back and see. Oh yeah, I got plenty of adjustment room in here, because now, yeah, plenty of adjustment room. Because if let me take this off one more time so you guys could see what I'm talking about. If I shorten this up even more, I would have to come to here to make that work. And it's just at that point, I won't have enough to get it around the pulley. So I can't shorten this up by, basically it's 2 links. So I have to use this link, which brings me to here, which when I pull back on the tire, that's my adjustment starting point. And I'm gonna have a lot more to adjust. So let me put this in again. I know I keep redoing it because I want to show everybody. All right, let me take a break and figure out how I'm going to do this, and then we'll press this on together. All right, guys, I figured out how to press the new master link in here. I got it done, but I'm going to show you step by step. On your anvil, you got a piece with 2 holes in it. That actually goes over on this side. And there's another anvil with a slot that goes on the outside. So that will catch that. And then you take your anvil here and you use it to press this plate on. And the 2 pins go through these 2 holes. So once that is pressed on, then you take your anvil with your adapter pieces, you put it over each side like that. Let me get a better view for you guys. Let me get this somewhat tight or snug so you can see. Okay, so you get it over on the back side here, and then you got the front side that presses and flares it out on both sides, and then you tighten it up, and that will mushroom the ends to hold that master link on. It took me a little while to figure it out. Like I said, I've never done this before, and you know, this is my first time, and it will probably be the last time, to be honest with you, because I don't know how many chain drive conversions I'm going to be doing for anybody, never mind, you know, myself or anybody else. But I have the tools now to do it. I wasn't afraid to do it before, and people would ask me if they want to do it, but they didn't have the horsepower to support such a thing. So that's the whole kit that I got from Amazon, and it wasn't that expensive. I did some shopping on Amazon for tools for this project, which is the 2 1/4 socket for the transmission, and then the chain press anvil kit, so I could put the chain back together. All right, so what's left to do is lube the chain, put the chain guard back on it, and as far as lube goes, what do I use? Well, I'll tell you what I use. And here's no big surprise, guys. Amsoil sells a chain lube, and it says it does not fling off. It guards against dirt, corrosion, and wear. So I'm going to rotate the tire around and lube the chain. And I'm going to be quite generous with the lube because this is the first time it's being lubed. So, you know, shake up our can here. And I only ordered 1 can of this because, like I said, I don't have a lot of need for this. Why is this binding? Oh, the brake caliper. Oops. There we go. So let's lube this chain up. And like I said, I'm going to be quite liberal with it. I'm going to put a lot on there. Even though it's got the chain wax, I still want to be quite liberal with it. And I'm sure you can understand why I want to get this lube as into the O-rings and the pins as much as possible. So when I do ride this bike again, the chain's ready to go. And this is just an added maintenance step I would have to do just about after every ride or every other ride, which is, you know, lube my chain. And not just lube this chain, but I will have to, you know, clean it and wipe everything down because it's going to make quite the mess. But that's all right, you know, just more maintenance that has to be done. And I try and wipe up all the excess that's on the rim and on the sprocket because it will collect dirt and dust and corrosion and all that other fun stuff which we don't want. All right, everybody. What do you think? Chain drive conversion complete. Other than the chain guard. I think it's awesome. I think it's going to be great when I have the big horsepower. I'm just trying to roll around to find that master link again. And there it is. And you can see the difference between the master link, this one, and then all the other ones from the factory. So, oh boy, that looks good, nice and shiny. I might want to clean off all these exterior links because it does look good. Keeps it nice and shiny. Looks a lot better. What do you guys think? You know, then I'll go around and I'll re-lube this chain. And be done with it. You know, to adjust it, it's the same way you would adjust your belt. You would adjust the chain, but I'm going to go a little bit tighter than I would for a belt because I want this thing to not have hardly any slack like you would in a belt where you want, you know, I think it's like a 3/16 of deflection with 10 pounds of pressure is your belt adjustment. So I'm not going to be whatchamacallit, doing that for this either. But yeah, that looks so much better with it nice and shiny. Boy, if those are my teeth, I'd have one hell of a grill. All right, everybody. Hey, if you like this video, please give this a like and subscribe. And don't forget, hit that bell notification. This way you get notified every time I upload a video. Until the next one, live the best life you can. Ride often and ride hard.
Like and subscribe to Dr.Harley. Subscribe.